Assalamu alaikum viewers and welcome to another week of Education Hour. আপনাদের সাথে আছে আমি মিলবা খন্দকার। আজকের টপিক হচ্ছে এক্সাম প্রিপারেশন, জিসিএসসি এক্সাম প্রিপারেশন এবং এই ব্যাপারে কথা বলতে আমাদের স্টুডিওতে আজকে প্রেজেন্ট আছে মিস মুবাশিরা খান who is an English and maths tutor at Exact Tuition, and she's also studying biomedical science at University of Greenwich. আমাদের সাথে আজকে আরো দুইজন স্টুডেন্টও আছে who will share their experience and hopefully give us some amazing tips on how to revise for our GCSE exam. So let's get introduced to our guest. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the show.
Welcome, salam.
Right. Thank you for joining me today. So, if the two students can introduce themselves to our guest, please.
Hi, I'm Jemima. I'm a GCSE student. I'm in year 11 and I am in Central Foundation Girls' School.
Hi, I'm Fatima. I'm in year 11. I'm doing GCSEs right now and I go to London Enterprise Academy.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. So yeah, today's topic is GCSE exam preparation, and I'll start with you first. So you are teaching at Exact Tuition.
Yeah.
Okay, and for how long have you been teaching there?
It's about a year now.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. How's your experience there?
I love it. I actually love it because I think my colleagues are very supportive. We get training, on how to really maintain the kids, and we get like a weekly sheet of how we're doing and what the students need to do. And yeah, I love it there. I think I
That's
get
very
like
nice.
a lot of support on how to support the kids.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
So, do you get GCSE students? Do you
Yeah,
teach them?
yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how you're preparing this year's students?
So it really depends on what kind of students, or like if they're studying foundation or higher, or how long they've been in this country. So my students right now, they recently came from like Italy, France, and like Portugal. So the thing is, for them it's a bit hard to settle down and everything. But the
Okay.
key is, to actually go over the specification. So make a checklist and then the specification. And every time they like finish a topic, they will just tick it. So
Okay.
in that way, they learn the content first, and then we have like more time to practice questions.
Okay, right. So coming to you guys, I mean, obviously, at this time, you should have already gone over all of your topics by now. So what are you currently doing? How are you preparing yourself for exam?
Well, we're currently in year 11, we're doing past papers because I think that's like the most important thing when it comes to making sure you get the best grade. Stuff like flashcards, mind maps. We're doing like different techniques to see what's best for us.
Okay. What about you, Fatima?
I like doing notes, but not long ones because they're short. If you make it too long, you won't like remember the things. If it's short, it's more easier to remember and revise through again. And you have to go through the notes like maybe once a week or at least like 3 times a week so you remember everything.
Okay, right. So you do go over it.
Yeah.
On the week. Okay. How many GCSE are you guys doing? You want me asking? So
I think 9, 10.
I'm
Yeah.
doing 10.
you're
I'm
doing
doing
10.
nine.
You're doing non-GCSE. Okay, that's amazing. So how are you preparing for maths? So I know obviously you can't do flashcards for them. How are you practicing for that?
Well, like I said, I do past papers because I think with school they teach us like content, and then I come home and I try my best to go through what they've taught me and try the harder questions because those are the ones that are most important because those are the ones that will actually come up in the exam.
Okay. Do you guys go to any tuition center?
Yeah, I go Exact Tutor.
Okay. All right. And do you think that they help you in there?
Yeah, I definitely think they help me. I think because when I go to school, I learn like a specific topic and then I'll come into tuition the next week or within that week and I'll like relearn it, but I'll learn it the harder way with harder questions, which helps me.
Okay. What about you, Fatima?
I go to tuition as well, and I think it's very helpful, especially coming from another country, because you have to catch up on a lot of things, and it's harder to learn because coming from other countries, the studying system is a lot different.
Right. Which country?
I moved from Italy.
You moved from Italy.
Yeah.
Okay. So how's the teaching system different from Italy to here?
In Italy, the teaching system is more advanced, so they teach you a lot of the harder things in the early years. So here it's like a lot more later.
So that means you find it easy, right?
It's easy, but like because of the language, it's a bit harder to remember things.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I'll come back to you again. Okay, we've got a caller with us, so let me take that and come back to you later. Assalamu alaikum, caller. Okay, I think we lost them. So yeah, we have another call.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum, caller. আপনার নাম বলে প্রশ্ন করুন।
ওয়ালাইকুম সালাম, আমি রত্না বলছি।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম আন্টি, ভালো আছেন?
এই তো আলহামদুলিল্লাহ ভালো আছি। আমি ফোন করেছি ইয়ার 5 এর বাচ্চার ম্যাথের জন্য কিভাবে প্রিপারেশন নিব, যেহেতু সামনে ইয়ার 6 এ ও পরীক্ষা দিবে, ম্যাথ পরীক্ষা দিবে, তো এখন থেকে কিভাবে প্রিপারেশন নিব একটু যদি জানাতেন আমাদের জন্য খুব ভালো হতো। আমার ভাইয়ের বাচ্চাটা পরীক্ষা দিবে তো ইয়ার 6 থেকে সামনে বছর।
Okay, ঠিক আছে আন্টি, thank you for calling.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, assalamu alaikum. Yeah, today's topic is not really year 6, but anyway, do you teach year 6?
Yeah, I do.
You
Yeah,
you
yeah,
did?
I do.
Okay, probably. So then, do you want to give any advice?
I think with them is more about learning the content first. So what they do in school is very important that whatever they do in school, they come back home and then make notes on them. For example, if they're learning something in maths, let's say addition or fraction, they should go home and then make notes on them.
Okay.
And he's still, in the caller, she was, I think he or she was in year 5. So she still have like 2 years to revise, which will be fine. So if she learns the content, all of the content by this year, and then start doing the SATs practice question from next year.
Like the past papers.
Yeah, the past papers. But then they also have like practice question, what can come up and stuff like that. So I think doing those is gonna like put them in an advantage.
Yeah, all right. What about for GCSE? Do you suggest any resource?
Yeah, so for GCSE, I would say the specification is very is the most important thing they can do.
You have to know it because
you have to know
exam
it. Because sometimes different schools have different books. So what happens is sometimes in books you might have questions that might never come up in the GCSE, or like you might miss a bit. So it's very important to learn the specification off by heart first, and secondly, have a timetable. So what most students don't have is they just study with the flow, but it's very important to have like a structured timetable. So okay, this week I'm learning this, that week I'm learning that. So for example, I teach GCSE maths. So the main 5 topics they are going to be that's going to come up is numbers, algebra, ratio, and statistics and geometry. So it's very important that they like spread it out. First learn the contents. Let's say week 1 you learn all the numbers, and then week 2 you learn all the algebra, so like 5 weeks. And then later do a mock exam, like in time condition, yes? Because the main problem that students have is get all the paper done in the time, within the time frame. That's why whenever you do like a past paper, you should have like a time frame, and then try to maintain that.
Okay, right. I'm going to quickly get the call, then come back to you. Assalamu alaikum, caller. আপনার নাম বলে প্রশ্ন করুন।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম মিলবা, আমি ফারহানা বলতেছি।
ওয়া আলাইকুম আসসালাম, আপু ভালো আছেন?
জি ভালো আছি। মুবাশিরা নাকি?
হ্যাঁ, মুবাশিরা।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
আমি মুবাশিরার সাথে প্রশ্ন রাখতেছি যে জিসিএসসি ম্যাথস এবং সায়েন্সের স্টুডেন্টরা কিভাবে প্রিপারেশন নিবে সেটা সম্বন্ধে এক্সপ্লেন করার জন্য।
Okay, thank you আপু for calling. হ্যাঁ, আমরা এটাই ডিসকাস করছিলাম।
So have a timetable is very important, but the other thing is, you need to get addicted. You need, to be addicted in the studying process. So and to do that, you need to be able to see the progress. I think, you need to be able to see the progress. Like us human, when we see progress, we get more addicted to do that thing, right? So let's say you go in the gym. If you're like in the gym for like a year and you see no progress, you won't go in the gym anymore. That's the same thing. So I would say first, do a past paper without revising. So how you do without
Okay.
revising, without knowing anything. And
You know
then learn the
where
topic.
your lackings are.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you exactly know what grade you would get without knowing anything. And then when you revise, let's say you learn all of the content without doing any practice in 5 weeks, and then you do the paper again. In that time, you're gonna see, you're gonna get like 2 grades more. So then you're gonna get addicted to get, another grade, because it's just gonna be, you're just gonna get addicted to it automatically because,
Right.
you're gonna feel motivated. Okay, from a 5, I came to a 6. Okay, let's try a 7, let's try an 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to quickly take another
Yeah.
call. Assalamu alaikum call আপনার নাম বলে প্রশ্ন করুন।
Assalamualaikum. My name is Mubashara. I have a question for the students actually. So I did my GCSEs way back. So our experience of doing GCSEs and studying for it was obviously a long time ago. And we studied in school. We had the support from the teachers directly there. So within the pandemic, how are you guys managing your studies, your study time, and what kind of tips do you have for us?
Right. Thank you for calling. That's a really nice question. So yeah, during this pandemic, how you managing your studying really?
Doing longer hours,
Okay.
but taking a break in between because we have to catch up on a lot of work that we missed because we did miss like 6 months of school.
Right.
And
Sorry to interrupt. Let me take another question. Another caller, and then I'll come back to you again. Assalamu alaikum caller, আপনার নাম বলে প্রশ্ন করুন।
হ্যালো, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম
আমার নাম
আসসালাম।
মশিউর রহমান, আমার ছেলের নাম রাইয়ান রহমান। তো
জি।
আমার ছেলে ইয়ার 4-এ পড়ে, আমি গ্রামার স্কুলে তাকে ভর্তি করাতে চাই। প্লিজ আমাকে একটু গাইডলাইন দিবেন যে আমি কিভাবে তাকে গাইড করতে পারি বা
আঙ্কেল আসলে আজকের বিষয়টা হলো জিসিএসসি নট 11+। আমরা আগে অনেক শো করেছি 11+ নিয়ে, অ্যান্ড ভবিষ্যতে আমরা আরও শো করব 11+ নিয়ে, বাট আজকে সম্ভব না, সরি। অ্যানাদার কলার। আসসালামু আলাইকুম কলার, আপনার নাম বলে প্রশ্ন করুন। আসসালামু আলাইকুম। I think we lost the caller now. So yeah, we were saying during the pandemic.
There's a lot of things we miss, and because I did triple science, I missed a really big chunk of science.
Right.
So we have to do it in school and then come back home and do a lot more ourselves as well. It's not just about the teachers teaching us; it's about ourselves teaching as well.
Right. What about you, Jemima?
Yeah, I agree with what she said. I think one thing I do is I have a schedule. I think when you have a schedule and you give yourself specific topics in a specific amount of time, try finish that and then go on to like, you can do biology this week and try do a certain amount of topics this week, and then next week you can do chemistry, you can do maths. Giving yourself a schedule is important. I also think independent learning is really, really important based off of what we went through, because our teachers can only teach us a certain amount of, like within a certain amount of time. If you take it upon yourself to teach yourself the rest of the content, that means you'll be further on, and when you get to that later on in the year, you will know the content.
Right. Okay. Thank you for answering that. We're going to take a short break and then come back to the discussion again. দর্শক, আমাদের একটি ছোট ব্রেক নিতে হবে। আমাদের সাথেই থাকুন, INTVর সাথেই থাকুন। We'll be back soon. Welcome back viewers. আপনারা দেখছেন এডুকেশন আওয়ার অন INTV. আমাদের টপিক হচ্ছে আজকে জিসিএসসি এক্সাম প্রিপারেশন। তো আমরা সরাসরি আবার গেস্টের কাছে চলে যাচ্ছি। So yeah, before the break, we were talking about what you guys were doing during the pandemic. So you were saying about like there was a lot of things that you have to catch up. So
What helped was we also had online lessons.
Oh, you did?
from
Okay.
school, and that meant that a lot of the topics we were able to cover, and then, but because it was online, we had to teach ourselves again as well. Because online is harder to understand because you can't interact with the teacher face to face.
Even now, like when we're doing, because some of us are isolating in school, we're having to isolate, so we'll be like at home and we'll be talking to a screen because our teachers are using specific like apps, and you'll have like the PowerPoint up on the screen, but because the teacher is teaching to a classroom, they're not exactly communicating with you, so you just feel like you're writing whatever's on the
screen.
On the screen, which I think was the hardest thing, like independent learning.
Right. Let me quickly take a call. Assalamu alaikum করা আপনার নাম বলে প্রশ্ন করেন।
হ্যালো,
আসসালামু আলাইকুম, আমরা শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম। আমি আসমা খানম, আমি পিঠার চাচিমা, মুবাশিরা চাচিমা।
হাই চাচিমা,
আমি
আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
actually জানতে চাচ্ছিলাম যে আপনাদের এখানে যে টেস্টের যে ইয়ারটিক টেস্টের কোশ্চেনটা কিভাবে আপনারা করেন, কিভাবে পেপার ওয়ার্ক করেন?
আচ্ছা, thank you for calling. Thank you.
Yeah. I think we first see the syllabus, like, you know, for training I had that day as well. So we first see the syllabus, and then based on the syllabus we break it down. So let's say the higher kids, or like the level 4 kids, level 3 kids, level 2 and level 1, and then based on that we have booklets. So, you know, whatever comes in the syllabus, let's say the topic is fraction, then we're going to have booklets on the fraction. So on the good thing about that is on the front page it says, you know, the revision, like the summary, you know, for revision, and then all the other pages is just like practicing.
Okay.
So I think practicing those is gonna like be very good. And yeah, I think that's it. And also right at the end, when the children will be finishing all of the booklets, we have I think practice papers and past papers. Yes, so that's like right the last month, isn't it, before the SATs?
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, like as you say, like different topics. Do you also take like test on?
Yeah. So
specific
every time
topics?
they finish like a booklet, there's a test.
Okay.
So and the good thing about that is you need to get 80% in order to pass the test.
Oh,
Yeah, so
that's
you know,
good.
yeah, because like if you keep the percentage low, let's say 50%, you know, they're missing out 50% of the mark. You know, they're thinking, oh, I got 50%, I passed the test, which is not very good. That's why our standards are like very high. So you need to get 80% in order to pass the test.
Okay. What if someone failed the test? What they're gonna do?
They're gonna keep doing it until they get 80%.
The same test. So
Yeah,
they
the
will
same
do it.
test again.
Okay.
And if we see like for 3 times they're failing, then we're gonna give like the same test but with different questions, different wording.
Okay.
And if they keep doing that, then we just have a parents meeting if they, you know, if they wanted to do it.
They're
like
not progressing
one-to-one,
at
yes,
all.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, what about revision techniques? Any tips to current GCSE students? I know you guys are currently also revising. So, what are you doing? Like she mentioned, the teacher mentioned that there should be a timetable. Do you also have like specific timetable, like when you should do what subject you should be revising?
Yeah, I have a specific timetable for like the specific days that I revise subjects. For example, like I'll revise biology on a Monday, and I'll do from this topic to this topic. And I think one of the most important things is recapping. Like you have to go over the topics that you've previously learned, because if you don't, then you just won't understand it. All you'll be doing is writing it without learning it, and that's not really that helpful. I think that was the most important thing for me. Just a schedule is so important.
Right. Do you also have a timetable for things?
Yeah, I have a timetable. It doesn't have specific subjects, but it summarizes what I'm going to do in a day, because if you say to yourself you're going to study from 7 to 8, it might not happen, but you should just always like tell yourself that you're going to study today, but just think of what, just not specifically.
Right. What about procrastination? Do you like? I know, because I've been through this, and yeah, there were times where I would procrastinate as well. So how would you deal with this?
We procrastinate a lot.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, like a lot. It's not
Just
good to.
start. Just start. Don't stop yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
And you
So
know,
yeah, like I've seen like myself, and I've seen like other friends of mine who would just stress about the exam, and they'll just start procrastinating and not do anything, and then at the end there's like a lot of pressure on them. They have to catch up with everything altogether. So
I think to stop procrastination, or like to decrease the amount you procrastinate, I think you should start earlier.
Right.
Like the earlier you start, like say if you have a test in January, if you start in September, you have a huge amount of time to go through all the topics, to be able to do revision papers, all of that. If you give yourself enough time, then you'll be fine. You know that you know the topics, and when you're confident in yourself, there's a higher chance you'll get better in your skill.
okay.
I think your parents can help you in that as well. So for example, if you tell your mum or dad, okay, mum and I'm going to do this by today, so test me at the end. So that's like what my mum used to do. So I used to tell her, okay, today I'm going to learn B1. So there's no choice. So I wouldn't. So I have to learn B1, and then at the end she'll be like, "Did you learn?" I'll be like, "Yeah," and then show the work.
Okay.
So yeah.
So
I think telling your parents is like a very big support, or
Right.
like your siblings as well.
So
You know?
did she used to like test you
Yeah.
or on that
specific,
topic?
yeah. But
Okay.
let's say if I just did like one note, like a page of notes, and then she'd be like, okay, do more, and she would test me. But if she sees like I did like a poster, flashcards, and mind map, she'd be like, okay, that's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you? Does your parents also help you? How are your parents really supporting you this time?
They just make sure I have the facilities that I need. Like maybe have my own personal time to do my things, and then I would tell them what I learned in school that day, so I remember that I'd learned this on this day.
Right. What about you, Jemima?
Well, I think my mom is like, my parents are really, really supportive of me, and they my mom tries her best not to put too much pressure on me, because the more pressure you put on your child, I think they think that they have to do good, which also means that they don't do good because they're so stressed out.
Yeah.
And just all of that just leads to a bad grade. So being like a parent being supportive of their child is so important. Don't pressure your kid. Make sure they're eating, because all of that stuff builds up and is really important.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'll come back to that. Let me quickly get a caller. Assalamu alaikum caller, আপনার নাম বলে প্রশ্ন করুন।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম, হ্যালো।
হ্যালো, caller শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
আমার প্রশ্ন হলো আমাদের বাচ্চাদের কাছে,
জি।
ওরা স্কুল থেকে ওরা আসলে কেমন সাপোর্ট পাচ্ছেন, আর স্কুলের সাপোর্টটা তো ওদের হেল্পফুল হচ্ছে কিনা?
ঠিক আছে। Okay, thank you for calling.
Okay, আসসালামু
Thank you.
আলাইকুম।
Wa alaikum salam. So yeah, what support you're getting at school?
We have intervention almost every day after school.
Okay.
Because of lockdown, because everyone's behind, all our teachers stay back for us as well, and they go over topics we might have missed, or over topics that some people might have found hard, and revise all the things that we might not know.
Right. Are you like having intervention on every subject you're doing?
Yeah.
You are. What about you, Jemima? Same.
Yeah, I've got like after school where our teachers would do intervention, and sometimes in lesson if a specific group of people are struggling in like maths, then my teacher will assign somebody to come and specifically teach those students.
Right. Okay. So there was a good point you made before I took the call about putting pressure on your kid. So yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. What about you? What do you think? How should a parent support their children at this time?
The parents should motivate their children a lot. Like, you know, rather than saying, "Oh, go get the A star," you could sit there and tell them, you know, try your best, do your best, and then even if you get a B, be satisfied with it. You know, not everyone's gonna get A stars, right? And you know, one more thing is don't compare your child with someone else.
Right.
Because you know, in that time, you know, they might not tell you, but you know, they might go in their room and then cry about it or something. You know, so it's better to like be open with them, especially in the GCSE times. You know, be friendly. Ask them, you know, what are your goals? What do you want to do? And if you see that they're getting like C's and D's or like bad grades, you could go up to them, and be like, okay, is everything fine? Is there any way I can support you? You know, don't shout at them thinking, oh, if I shout at them, they're gonna do good. You know, be there to support them. Also, one thing I was gonna say is like that's my mom used to do that. She used to wake me up every day at 6 a.m. and then you know used to make me breakfast. And you know, at one point I used to think like, okay, I'm not gonna revise. I'm just gonna sit there. So if she comes in, she's gonna think, oh, you're revising. But the fact that she used to wake up every day, that used to make me feel very sad. That okay, you know, she's doing so much for me. Why, you know, I should do something as well. So you know, these little things that you do for your child and show them that you care for them. You know, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, it's really nice of your mom to actually wake up at that time.
That's so
I mean,
and then I used to think like, okay, you know, she woke up, so let's just revise.
Exactly.
I think not comparing them with anyone else at all. Just you know, just try your best and let them know. You know, tell them that you're trying your best as well.
Right. What about like how do you know which subject you have to revise for? Like which subject you're going to revise for today or in the upcoming weeks? How do you prioritize your subjects?
I think I prioritize it on the things I struggle the most with.
Okay.
Because don't do the things you know are easy for you, because then you're just gonna you're in your comfort zone. And I think if you do things that are harder for you, that means you're pushing yourself, and the more you push yourself, the better. It's easy to do the things that are easy for you, because then you'll just be like, oh, I already know what cells are. But
Yeah, you have to get out of your comfort zone.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's so important.
Yeah, what about you, Fatima?
I do the same thing as well. I go over the things that I find hard first, because though it's harder to remember those. So I'll just go over those, and then later I'll go over the things I already know.
Right. Okay. So after GCSE, what's your plan? What A levels you're doing? Are you doing A levels? So what's your plan?
Well, I intend on going to college.
Okay.
Inshallah, I hope to study English literature,
Right.
psychology, and law.
Right. So you want to do law?
Yeah.
That's what it means. Okay. Right. What about you, Fatima?
I want to go college. I want to study biology, chemistry, and economics, but I'm not sure quite where I want to be in the future.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because it's a combination. You said biology, chemistry. I was thinking about maybe maths, but no, suddenly economics. Yeah. So yeah, I wish you good luck with your GC exam. Hopefully it goes well. What about you? So I know you're doing biomedical science. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm on my second year.
are you okay? How's that going?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I enjoy it a lot.
You do.
Yeah.
All right. What about you? What A levels have you done?
I did biology, chemistry, and maths.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. That's what I wanted to hear. But yeah. Anyway, so did you do your GCSE and A levels in here in this country?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you can
So
pretty
I
much
came from
relate.
Italy in 2013. So I started here from year 8.
Okay.
And then
Right. So you didn't get to do the new
No, I
grading.
did it. Yeah, I did it. So I set the GCSE in 2017. So that was like the first year for
Okay.
91 for
All right.
English and maths.
Okay. Yeah. It was really nice to talk to you and you guys as well. So we are at the end of our session. Is there anything you want to say, any last tip to our other GCSE students?
Revise. Start revising now.
And don't procrastinate.
Yeah, start revising now. It's easier. It's best to start now. Even if you're like a misbehaving student, you're gonna regret it if you don't do it now. Take our advice. Start now. It's worth it. Even the year 10s especially. Depending on the situation we were in, we didn't take it seriously enough in year 10, and then now that we're in year 11, we're straight into the deep end. So like, I would start in year 10.
Right. What about you, Mubashira?
I would say don't go on study session with your friends, because you know you might end up talking to them about irrelevant topics.
It's true.
So it's very important that you stay at home, and if you don't understand something, you could go to to your friends or teachers. Okay, I don't understand this, but yeah, don't just sit there with a bunch of people, with all of your friends, and think, oh, I'm studying, because it could be like you're staying there for like 4 hours and you learn one topic, and you might think, oh, I studied a lot, but if you're actually revising at home for 4 hours, you could get like 3-4 topics done.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you all. আমাদের আজকে অনুষ্ঠানটি শেষ করতে হবে, টাইম ওভার হয়ে গেছে। সো আপনাদের সবাইকে স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি আমাদের নেক্সট প্রোগ্রামের জন্য, এভরি উইক টিউসডে অ্যাট 6 PM। আমাদের সাথে থাকার জন্য ধন্যবাদ এবং আয়ন টিভিকে ধন্যবাদ। আসসালামু আলাইকুম।